All right, welcome to morning briefing, August 16th, 2018, here at McGregor ICP. First thing we'd like to do is tell you silence your cell phones. If you phone rings, you buy donuts. That goes for you folks out in the field too, so take care of that. All right, we're going to go over the objectives. First one, provide for the safety of the firefighters, responders, and general public by identifying and mitigating hazards through accepted practices and operating guidelines. Protect life and property by pre-positioning resources and utilizing local resources in direct attack through safe firefighting tactics. Keeping losses of property, as minimal as possible. Assure that strategy and tactics, current and predicted weather, fire behavior, and hazards are clearly communicated throughout the incident. Establish unified command with local, state, private, and federal cooperators whenever possible. Conduct all operations in a safe, cost-effective manner while promoting mutual respect in an atmosphere free of discriminating or harassing remarks and behavior. Okay, you guys that have been here a long time have been seeing those, but we have new people come in every day and they need to know why they're here and what we're doing, and sometimes it's good to be refreshed ourselves. So, with that, I'll turn it over to weather.
All right, good morning everybody. Incident meteorologist Steve Fano. Looks like another hot and dry day across Texas for the most part. This morning we did have some showers and thunderstorms up in the Panhandle. Those are dissipating very quickly this morning, and we should see new activity develop later today. The precipitation ending at 6 a.m. You can see the Panhandle was pretty much the hot spot yesterday. Some areas picked up over an inch. We even had a few severe storms up there that produced some hail and gusty winds between Amarillo and Plainview. So may see more of that activity today. There was also some activity out in the Trans-Pecos and a few showers and storms down there on the coast. There's our lightning ending at 6 a.m. this morning, and again, the Panhandle being the hot spot. So basically for today, if you were out in the field yesterday, it's going to look like pretty much a carbon copy. Basically, rain areas are going to stay relatively the same. Temperatures are going to be very close to what they were, maybe slightly drier today, and basically through the weekend is going to pretty much look like that. We are starting to see some trends that maybe a brief cold front will come through next week, so we'll be looking at that. But basically next couple days are going to be pretty typical for Texas for August. There's your high temperature forecast. For today, basically 95 to 100, 102, 103, definitely not out of the question. One thing I did highlight here, although I'm going to use a better color next time, is heat index values are starting to creep up there. We get the Gulf. The Gulf is pretty much opened up right now, which brings moisture into the area, and those afternoon heat index values will creep up to 105 in places. Relative humidity, since that Gulf moisture is coming in, they're not tanking as bad as they can sometimes in August, but generally going to be above 30% for the most part, except for maybe out in the far west. And the wind direction is going to be generally south, maybe some northerly winds in the northern Panhandle briefly this morning. The speeds running anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour with some daytime gusts 25 miles per hour or maybe even a little bit more. And especially around thunderstorms, obviously gusty and erratic, and could be much stronger. So there's the highlighted precipitation area. It's kind of doing a little half donut around the state with the activity out west, up north, and maybe in the far east. Rain chances are actually fairly low overall though. The radar forecast for about 5 p.m., and this isn't necessarily what it's going to look like, but this is what one model thinks it's going to look like, and there's the activity out in the Panhandle and the and also a few little showers dotting the coast there. So that change I was talking about, you know, we can pretty much expect these conditions through Sunday, and then models are indicating that we'll have a cold front come through the state, probably enter the Panhandle Sunday night, and then progress through the state during the day on Monday. Right now, there probably will be a brief period of precipitation for most areas. It's not going to be anything like we saw last week or earlier this week, but many areas will see a wetting rain, at least briefly. And then the front looks like it's going to barrel through down to the coast by Tuesday, and that will leave us cool and dry. And one thing that will happen is the wind speeds are going to increase behind this front, especially like on Tuesday, and the humidities will probably be considerably lower. So it'll probably be a hot, dry, and kind of, well, still hot, but dry and windy day as we get into Tuesday. So that's all I have, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Good morning, all. Rich. Yesterday we did have the one new start, the Garlett's fire up in Stevens County. Task Force 18 IA'd that, sitting at 25 acres, 50% contained, and we will have Strike Team 41 back out on it today to finish up the fire. Heard weather getting hotter and drier, so today through the weekend, so we need to pay attention to that, particularly at our staging areas. Expect that increase in IA, and then winds will be picking up and changing directions on Monday, Tuesday. So next 4 or 5 days, we need to stay vigilant and pay attention to that. Out in the field and in command post here, we are putting the demob list in the IAP, so pay attention to that. As we talked about yesterday, we are starting to let some things attrition out, but we will still maintain the staffing appropriate for that forecasted weather through Tuesday, and then we'll reevaluate after that again. So again, y'all pay attention out there, keep your SA up, and be prepared for IA. Last thing you've seen, the heat indices today, you need to start planning for that this morning as we prepare to go to fires this afternoon. So that's all I've got. I'm going to turn it over to Air Ops now. Thank you.
Good morning. With it being mid-August, our daylight is getting shorter, so with that we're going to have a change in aircraft hours. They'll be running 0800 to 1900. We have the same complement of aircraft. That's two AirTech platforms, one in Abilene, one in Fredericksburg. We have our 6 seats, 2 in Abilene, 2 in Fredericksburg, and 2 in Giddings. We have our 2 Type 3 helicopters, one in Mineral Wells and the other in McGregor. We have our Type 2 helicopter sitting over in Smithville and our Type 1 helicopter over in Cisco. That'll do it for Air Ops.
Morning, John McGee for safety. Had a good day yesterday, no serious accidents, and we heard the weather. It's going to get hotter and drier, so again, heat-related injuries come into play. I just can't emphasize enough that you have to keep yourselves hydrated, not only out in the field and on the line, but in your staging area, even here in the ICP. I just want to remind everybody again about these heat-related injuries. They're very incipient. It's very difficult for an individual to recognize the symptoms in themselves. Okay, you just can't figure out, I'm going into distress, I need to do this. So keep an eye on each other. When you see someone with those symptoms, take action, okay? I also got some tentative feedback about another accident out west, involved snags and trees. Don't know all the details. I'll pass them on when I get them. I mentioned that again. There are lots of trees in Texas, okay? They do burn, and them and their parts will come down. So keep your heads up out there around snags. I'm also getting some pictures and feedback about this last fire. A lot of urban intermix out there. Private structures, private property. Probably has lots of hazardous material out there. So again, look through your IRPG, check out those guidelines, those hints about operating in that environment. And again, keep an eye on each other, and we'll all be back again tomorrow.
Good morning from Finance. Just real quick, if you're demobbing, please bring all your shift ticket books and your CTR books with you so we can collect the originals. And if you're demobbing and you think you might be missing some time, It's been working really well. If you call into finance, we'll look at your packet, see if you're missing anything, and it makes the demo process a lot faster. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Les Rogers, IC of the team. Just want to point out a few things that safety mentioned. You know, a lot of folks moving around out there. We do have school that has started in the northern part of the state, so around DFW area along I-20, and then here in McGregor, school has started as of yesterday. And so as you go further south, school starts on Monday. So just keep that in mind as you're out there moving around. And I was talking to Charles Tice this morning. He said, you know, have a plan, kind of like a triangle, because if you go around in a circle, there's no point to that. So y'all have a good day.
Okay, that concludes the briefing for August 16th. There we go. Okay, August 16th, the briefing's over. Turn your phones back on. The thought for the day: leaders who don't listen will eventually be surrounded by people who have nothing to say. So think about it. Have a great day.